Welcome in, Benny. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in, everybody. I think that was some sort of a sign. How's everybody doing? What's her face? Been a while. How's it going? For those of you that haven't caught last night's reading, you might want to go check it out at some point. Not tonight, but at some point. It was talking about some crash and burn kind of energy and projection that people's been throwing at you. Wanting you to crash and burn. I had a bit of a download just before I started the live. And I was sitting here chatting with a friend of mine. And it kind of dawned on me that this crash and burn kind of energy it's definitely a thing. It's not a figment of your imagination. You're not going crazy. Deadly Ghost is in the house. Welcome in, Ashley. Welcome in, Deadly Ghost. Just by you guys showing up tonight is a confirmation to me. That things are about to shift. And tonight is more of an intuitive, like I have my cards, but tonight is more of an intuitive breakdown of the energy that you might all be feeling at this time. It's great to see you guys. And I do believe that this crash and burn energy is definitely it's being projected by a very sadistic, evil bunch of people. And I do feel that they are projecting it worldwide. It's not just targeted, it's everyone. And a lot of us are dismissing it. A lot of us are looking the other way. A lot of us are sugarcoating it. And I'll tell you right now, collective, people want you burnt out. Just as much as they want me to burn myself out. And it's not even the people that you surround yourself with. Okay? There very well could be some of you that have certain people around you that are being used as a vessel to stress you out, to trigger you, to burn you out. But I think this is a little bit deeper. I think it goes way deeper. Don't be scared. Yeah, we're sitting outside. You want some color? I'll put some color in here. Hang on a second. Hang on. There we go. There we go. Tonight is a vortex episode, an intuitive vortex episode. If I need to bring out my cards to clarify something, I will, but the more people that are crashing and burning and being left destitute and struggle and trials and tribulations, just know you are not alone. And I really feel that we need to start banding together We need to start banding together. We need to start supporting each other. Because the world is already making us bitter, and that's what they want. They want us divided, they want us bitter, they want us not wanting to help out anybody, they want us helpless, so that way we can't help anyone else. And I think that's the last decade that they've been trying to implement this. Because the more destitute people are and helpless that they are, the less they can do, right? Even for themselves. And whether people like it or not, we're all hanging on by a thread. Some might have it better than others. But we are navigating the same waters, collective. Where some of us are in a dinghy, some of us are in a sailboat, some of us are in a motorboat, some of us are in a yacht. But we are all navigating the same waters. I've been wanting to do a Vortex episode for quite some time, but I've been very reluctant to because I've been trying to bite my tongue. There's a lot that I've been wanting to speak on regarding the global systems at play here. And as much as I think that I would like to do a Vortex episode and speak on this, I've been left in a particular position where I don't know exactly how to do it in a way that's going to get me banned or it's going to get me shadow banned or something like that. Because I don't want to, right? I don't want to be shadow banned. I don't want to be put in a position where what I'm speaking on gets me in some sort of trouble. But here we are. It's becoming very evident with the status quo of things. The more people out here losing and becoming helpless, the less they are able to stick up for even themselves, let alone anyone else. And the people that are out here talking about certain things are being targeted. And considering I've been targeted ever since I started my channel and even before that, and anytime I talk to anyone about it, they think I'm overthinking. They think that I'm delusional. They think that I don't know what I'm talking about. But I'm living it every single day. I'm living it. I vowed to only come on here and speak truth. I vowed to always be honest. I vowed to never sugarcoat anything. I vowed to always be genuine and lead with integrity, lead with empowerment. Because we're dealing with a very sadistic bunch of people, and the last thing I want to do is talk about doom and gloom and how the world's going to shit, and how no matter what we try to do, it's still gonna go to shit. I'm only one person. We are only one tribe of many. But I think a lot of people need to start speaking out more about their experience. Because what you'll find, and it's something that I've found in the last 3 years of doing the channel here on YouTube, I'm not alone. What I'm going through on a personal basis, there are many people out there going through the same thing. And before I started the channel, I thought I was alone. I thought I was the only one going through this. And I think that's one of the main reasons why Spirit called me to start my channel and start posting. I've been pretty consistent. I haven't heard from her in a little bit. I sent a message to her the other day, yesterday or the day before, and I haven't heard back, so I hope she's okay. I really do. Hopefully she'll show up tonight. It would be nice to see her in the chat. And I'm asking my tribe today if you guys felt a shift earlier on today. A shift of energy. Like everything is going to be okay. Yeah, a shift in the energy. I'd say between, I think it was like between 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, between 2 and 4 Eastern Standard Time. Because I did a huge return to sender. I called my power back again. I cut and severed ties. And I sent out major healing to my tribe. This could have been a burst of energy, a burst, like Ashley said, a burst of optimism. But what I called upon, I not only called upon for myself as far as empowerment and protection, but I called on it towards my tribe as well. For you to be protected and for you to have the strength to rise above. And anyone that has been disloyal to be revealed. Anybody that was disingenuous anybody that was an op to be revealed to not only myself but to my tribe. And I must say, when they reveal themselves, do not call them out. Just take notes. Do not question it. If anything, thank Spirit for showing you and revealing that information to you. But don't act on it. It is for your own personal information. It's on a need-to-know basis situation. And just simply act accordingly. Welcome in, Frey. Welcome in, Roxanne. Yeah, they're good at that, Michael. Welcome in, Relic. I really feel that if we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, because if we end up making a ruckus, I have a feeling they might do a blackout with the internet. And I think they're already trying to do that. I think they're already trying to scrub the internet of certain information so that way we can't put two and two together. There are certain people being targeted and taken out. May they rest in peace. And I will say that I will not ever take my own life. I will endure no matter what happens. But if my channel goes dark, and if I stop posting for a while, please send me healing, please send me protection in your own way. Because I have a feeling there's certain people that are in search for me. There are people stalking. And I do really feel that they are closing in. It's just a feeling that I've had for a couple weeks that I've been sitting on because I've been looking the other way, I'll be honest. Try not to give it much thought. Try not to give it much worry because that's what they want. I'm doing my best to stay empowered. people that I don't even know deadly, and that's what, it doesn't really bother me, but I think this is what's created a huge division within my networking circle of people, because I don't know who I can trust, and I don't know who I need to use discernment with. And by that, I think people are being utilized by dark energy, people that are not protected, people that are vulnerable to the darker frequencies. Because there has been some fuck shit in the background, I'm not gonna lie. And I do believe these people are associated with certain institutions, certain governments, certain services. And I think partially the reason why I was homeless last month is to really see how the system is breaking down, and how this so-called system that has certain services to help those in need are struggling. For instance, social services, social assistance, they literally have nothing to give anymore. They have nothing to offer, and whatever they offer isn't enough. So there definitely needs to be reform on that. Certain governments have already been infiltrated. And some of these governments have been infiltrated for decades, but they've been sitting in the shadows, playing in the light, and spewing darkness behind closed doors. Throwing rocks, hiding their hands. And if you've ever heard the Never-Ending Story, or watched that Never-Ending Story movie, the original, not the remakes, I would chalk it up to be the nothing. And if you have a chance to watch that movie again, I would. Because as an adult, I will guarantee you, you will see things in a different light with that movie. And I do believe within our current timeline, we are headed for the swamps of sadness. And quite frankly, I think we're already there. I think we are stepping foot in the mud as we speak. And we are going to be meeting that Morla, the swamp turtle. I have a feeling it might be on Netflix. I have a feeling it might be on Tubi. I'm not I'm not sure. But I'll tell you right now, collective, that as much as we would like to think things are getting better, we really need to start speaking up. Because there very well could be a point where we won't be able to, and it'll be too late. I do believe that we are in the precipice of a revolution. I do believe that people are under so much pressure that they are preventing themselves by biting their tongue from screaming. And I think we are at the point where we should embrace the scream. Ashley, if I'm buffering, you might want to go out and come back in again. Maybe close down your app and jump back in. See if that helps. Unless there's other people that are saying the same thing. And when I say speak up, speak on what you're called to speak on. Don't be out here under pressure speaking on things you really don't understand or that you only have one point of view on. Make sure you take some time out to experience the moments and bring that validation to the table. And the fact that my tribe is all the way around the world, we need to start making ripples in our own space. I really wish that we were closer, because then we could band together. But if we make ripples in our own space, in our own areas, if we create some sort of an awareness, we may still have a chance to overcome this. And again, I'm at the point of losing my storage. I'm at the point of losing my phone service. I'm at the point of losing pretty well everything. And I'm doing everything I can to stay level-headed, stay grounded. So, if you have it and you can donate, it would be greatly appreciated. People are out here telling me I need to go and get a real job, and I've been applying to jobs for the last 9 months now at this point. And I've had one interview out of probably 100 applications. In the last 9 months. And I really feel that there's a lot of job postings going up, but they are keeping the job pool moving, so that way it looks like there's still jobs, but there really isn't. People are retaining their current employees, and they are downsizing and putting extra pressure on their employees in order to take on more work for less pay or for the same pay. And I feel that this is a fabrication. I feel that this is a fabrication to the grand illusion that they're trying to portray, that the employment is still active, that there is still possibility. So if you are out of work and you are applying and you aren't getting anywhere and you just feel like you're spinning your wheels, you are not alone. You're not crazy. And this goes for housing as well. It's getting to the point where the people that have houses that are into real estate, they are trying to make extra money, and I feel this is why there's been an inflation in the housing market, in the rental market, because they are trying to live off the backs of their investments. And I'll tell you right now, back over a decade ago, if you had the money to invest in real estate and the housing market, you already had a profession, you already had a work, you already had jobs. And to hold real estate is a factor to support your community locally. That's why rent was relatively reasonable back a decade ago, because people were investing in the principle of supporting their community, supporting the sustainability of their community. And within the last decade, we've had certain people who will remain nameless that have put out workshops charging anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500 a plate to go talk about entering the real estate market. And they were basically making money off of an illusion. And I do feel that this was in part of the changeover of integrity into creating more of a monetary investment and making money off of residential in the housing market. The whole housing market has lost its principle, it's lost its integrity, and it's overall lost its ability to provide for its community. Thank you, Michael. Welcome in, Stephen. And that's the thing, Deadly Ghost. You wonder what happened to most of the people that you used to see on here. I do feel some of them have been targeted. And I send them nothing but strength, protection, and healing. Yeah, I wasn't posting hardly at all last month. And it did what it ultimately did what they wanted it to do. It's pretty well left me destitute, where I don't even have enough for my storage, let alone my phone service. And I have to somehow find a way to make close to $400 at least before the 18th, otherwise I'm getting cut off. All the money from my revenue was only $123, and my storage unit is $192. So I gotta somehow come up with the difference of what I made in order to cover my storage. And I have until, I think it's the 17th or the 18th of May in order to take care of a payment arrangement for my phone service. Otherwise I'll be cut off again. And I was cut off. And AI cut me off of my phone service. And I was without phone service for about a week. The only thing I had available to me was Wi-Fi. Thank you, Michael. Donations to Hipsy or PayPal are appreciated. It will help me cover what I need covered. So that is the first avenue. I've got roughly about $300 coming to me in the next revenue. But that very well could change depending on the support I receive. And the fact that they want to cut my service, my phone service, pretty well leaves me vulnerable from receiving any type of interviews or any type of calls. So this is like a slow burn so that I crash out. And being that where I am currently is very, very temporary, I'm not going to be here for very much longer. And at this point, to some degree, I feel that I've overstayed my welcome already. Meanwhile, I've been here cleaning, helping, organize, helping with laundry, helping with food, making food. I'm doing what I can for the moment. But Spirit is asking me to stay patient, continue to stay consistent. And I'm down to my last pack of cigarettes. So that's another thing. I don't even have enough to pay my storage, let alone feed myself, or even get a carton of cigarettes. A carton of cigarettes lasts me a week now. I have not a clue what I'm going to do. Because where I am, I can't have my address here, so I can't even get a social assistance check. And I really don't feel that that's an option for me either, because they don't really offer much anyway. So I do feel that there will be some sort of basic income coming to the forefront, because it's going to get so bad that, like, ever since last year, all the shelters have been packed. And there's a particular intake phone number that you call during the day, and people are saying that they're calling 5 and 6 times and they're still not getting a bed at a shelter. And they're left to fend for themselves. There are places that you can go and get a bite to eat. There's certain places that will allow you to shower and do laundry. But for a place to stay, they have nothing available. I have lozenges, but I'm saving them for when I really, really need them. But I've been trying to taper back. The ironic part is, right when I'm wanting to quit smoking, they send me projections of stress, so that way I smoke more. And I'm to the point where I'm not even getting tailor-made cigarettes. I'm getting them from the reserve now to save money. But I know when I quit smoking, because even when I cut back, my nightmares came back. So I'm very reluctant to quit because of the nightmares. The last time I quit, my nightmares ended up bringing me back down into my south node. But I wasn't necessarily karmic, but a lot of my darkness came out. And I find that when I cut back on cigarettes, my body becomes more vulnerable to sickness too. So I think that's another reason why they're trying to make it a slow burn. We're talking about very evil, very sadistic individuals. if you have a residence and if you have a open room and you can help out your community, do it. If you can help someone be housed and give them a safe place to be, do it. Because I do believe that you will be blessed because of that. Now is not the time to be selfish. Now is the time to be compassionate. If you have a house and you have empty rooms, I'm sorry to say, but you are part of the problem. It's no longer about you, it's about supporting your community and bringing back the integrity to the housing market. Because I find it very ironic that any rentals that are available are being rented out by foreigners, by people that are coming into the country. And I do believe that they are trying to make a difference, but some of them are, what I found within the rental market is that people that have been here for years, people that have been living here that are they are charging rent well above what ODSP, like the disability programs and the social assistance, because they're trying to push the ODS, the disabled and the less fortunate out on the street. And they're only basically renting to people that actually have some sort of career or job or some sort of money happening. And I think this is why they're going above the social standards bare minimum. And I find a lot of the rentals that are available that are very, very pricey, they are citizens. And anybody that are refugees that have come in to gain some sort of occupancy are the only ones below the market rent amount. And it's to the point now where they are doubling up in the bedrooms. So you're having to share a bedroom with another person in order to have that below market price. And I think in retrospect, this isn't a good thing, but in retrospect, certain people are doing what they can, and certain people are being very, very selfish across the spectrum. But again, if you're sitting here with the house with empty bedrooms and you're not willing to help out your community, you're not willing to help out the people that you know that are even close to you, that you do know, and you see people struggling and you're not willing to help, You're part of the problem. And I'm ever so grateful for my friend to help me out. I'm very grateful. And this is why I choose to do what I do while I'm here, to help lighten the load and to not be a burden, and to to do my best to create a peace rather than a hindrance, because I think that's important. I think it holds integrity. I think it holds genuinity by showing reciprocity. No matter the dynamic, no matter where you stand in the grand scheme of things. Because at this point, I could be living under a bridge somewhere. At this point, well, I'm at this point, I'm about to lose everything. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I wish my tribe empowerment, support, strength, healing, clarity, protection. I wish the divine to blanket all of you. Yeah, every day is a miracle. I agree. To be going through the trials and tribulations that the world is going through, and to still be here to witness it, that is a miracle in itself. Because there are people out here ending their life because they got laid off. They're not making rent. They're losing their house. They're losing their farms. They're losing their properties. The whole idea of having job security is a thing of the past, collective. I have a 6-page resume portfolio. I could build a house if I had enough hands. I can cook. I can clean. I can organize. I can landscape. Mind you, my body is on strike. And hence, that's why I went to YouTube. So the ones sitting there bitching and hollering and screaming at the fact that I need to get a job, I'm looking for a job that I can supplement my channel, and that way I can get my own place. But it's to the point now where I've had one interview and I didn't even get the job. It was already filled before I even had the chance to say yes. It was a phone call interview for a customer service, inbound, and I would have needed a computer. They said that they were going to provide it, which was okay. I was all for it. And then I called them back to check to see if I was on the list, and there was miscommunication somewhere, and they'd already hired the people that they already hired the number of people that they needed. And come to find that I wasn't even on the list. So I know there's some sort of dark energy out here trying to prevent me from even having a job. So I have that too, on top of dealing with the pressures of being only one person in a pool of hundreds of thousands of people, and there's only 50, 60, 70 jobs available. Now, with my job experience and what I am capable of doing are two totally different things. I'm capable of a lot. I can bring a lot to the table. Unfortunately, though, because of my body going on strike, because of all the spiritual warfare and the targeting, it makes it extra difficult, extra challenging to be able to have said job. On top of that, dealing with the pressures of the unemployment pool being so huge. Just like my father used to say, back in the day there was 100 people for 1,000 jobs, and now there's 1,000 people for 100 jobs. And then on top of that, the spiritual warfare. On top of that, the targeting. All because we are awake, we are aware. All because I am speaking on it. Puts even more pressure. Because I'm speaking up. Because I'm saying something. But I feel that if enough people were to speak up, the government would have no other choice but to either do something about it or try to shut us up and keep us quiet. Which brings me to the predictions. of 2026. Yeah, but in order to move there, Ashley, I have to pay $50,000 in order to leave Canada. 50,000. $50,000 to officially leave Canada. So as much as I would like to move abroad and go see other sites, leaving Canada at this point is not an option, unless I go on a vacation and never come back. But I would need that extra support in order to get to where I need to go, and just keep moving around. But even then, my services, as far as my phone, I would have to get a different SIM card, and I'd have to get new phone service wherever I go. I was entertaining the possibility of moving out of Ontario, but whether I go east or west is up in the air. I'm not too sure as to what, where, or how I would even get there. So they are definitely trying to trap and corral, and they think that they're going to do it with the 15-minute cities. And I feel that there will be some sort of a revolt because of that. And this goes back to creating a helplessness across humanity. Considering we are already struggling, considering we are already in the thick of it, I do feel that there's going to be some things that are going to happen that are going to bring certain people to their knees. It's going to, like, the services are already overpressured to start with. And it's wild because certain people that have been comfortable in their profession or in their way of life and their current consistency have no clue what the world is like outside of their realm of existence. And this is the scary part. Because they're not out here living it, because they're happy in their little side of their reality. They're not paying attention to the outer realities. And they feel that this struggle and this hopelessness are just lazy people with nothing to offer. They're out here projecting that these people on welfare, these people on disability, these people on these different government programs are delinquents. They're useless eaters. They have nothing to offer and they're taking from the system. Meanwhile, I do feel a lot of these people are empaths. I do feel a lot of these people are healers. I do feel a lot of these people are spiritually yoked in such a way of recognizing and seeing the truth. And this is why it's very difficult for them to even rise above, because they are bombarded by struggle. It's very difficult to stay in a positive, optimistic mindset when you're bombarded with struggle. And if you are bombarded with struggle, I stand with you. You are not crazy. Yeah, job security overall, Ashley, is an illusion. And being a part of a unionized workforce doesn't help either. As much as they want to make you believe that, it doesn't. Because most of the unions favor the employer rather than the employee in the grand scheme of things. And at the end of the day, it's about the dollar. And considering the accomplishments of AI and what these robots have been doing to the workforce, it's taken a lot of people, a lot of jobs, a lot of opportunities away from the people. And as good as everybody thinks this AI bullshit is, it's really not all that good. And I've even heard that this new Gemini AI through Google is depleting a lake of fresh water. And this lake of fresh water is actually drinking water for the townships in the area, which I think is very upsetting. And I guess these servers are underwater, and it is basically evaporating the fresh water from the lakes, because these servers need to be chilled, they need to be cooled, almost like a reactor. And it's depleting even the groundwater. It's depleting the springs. It's depleting resources. So this whole idea of AI supposed to help the world, I do feel that there's more hindrance than anything. I was debating for months whether or not I wanted to do AI videos, and I've pretty well sworn against it because of what I found out when I did my research, because I don't think it's right. The only thing I've used AI for is my thumbnails. That's it. I'm no hypocrite. I haven't really felt all that creative to make my own thumbnails. So to utilize that, it makes my life a little easier, yes. But I'm not proud of myself for that. And since I found out this other information regarding the servers and regarding the depletion of the groundwater and the lakes, I've refrained from utilizing those services. And that's why you see a lot of the thumbnails reoccurring. And I repeat, using the same ones. I use what I have available to me, and that's it. But upon my decision, I used the Illustrator one last time, and I made a bunch of different ones that I could choose from. But since then, I haven't been back. Oh, it's a heck of a lot more than that, Stephen. It's not just a search bot. There's people out here thinking that they're going to charge $3,000 and $4,000 to build a website, and you can go on and allow AI to do it for you in minutes, and they'll charge you $20, $25, $30, $100, depending on which one you use, depending on the program you use. So it's literally putting people out of money, putting people out of work. It's one of the reasons why I don't support Amazon, because of everything that they've turned over to AI. And I've heard that Amazon employees, they don't get treated well to begin with, so why would I support the services? And they make billions of dollars, and they're not giving back. They're just creating more waste. So that's why I really haven't been supporting Amazon. That's why I removed my wish list. And this is where it comes back to the whole aspect of crashing and burning. And they're doing it in a very slow way. They're doing it in a way that is very unnoticeable. And the thing is it's impossible to point the finger because there's nothing to point at. And this is why I called back the never-ending story in tonight's video and referenced the nothing, because I do feel that we are at that precipice. If we actually recognized that we are the divine witnessing this, if we actually recognize the power that we do have, instead of feeling helpless, it's going to get to the point where we're going to have to do it. It's either do or die. It's not going to be about money anymore. It's going to be about survival. It's going to be about supporting your neighbors. It's going to be about supporting your communities for free. It's not going to be about money. Money is going to lose its value. So people thinking that, oh, they're going to get into crypto, they're going to get into Bitcoin, they're going to get into this digital dollar. The digital dollar, all it's meant is for controlling the masses, to corral the masses into supporting certain avenues and to cut out certain avenues. And I do feel that when the digital dollar becomes Trump, and I don't mean Donald Trump, when it becomes the say-all, end-all, that's when things are going to really turn. And I do believe that's already happening. It's already being integrated. And I feel that by the end of 2026, it will be full on in movement, in use. As I say, it's already in use, but it's slowly being trickled and integrated into the system. And with the digital dollars, these dollars will be programmed to be accepted certain places and not accepted in other places. So they will ultimately be taking control of what you are able to purchase, where you are able to purchase, where you are able to shop. And it's almost a monopoly. So if certain stores or certain establishments do not follow suit with certain dynamics or certain scenarios, they will be blacklisted and they will cease to exist. And this is somewhat of a monopoly on control rather than the dollar. And I do feel that is coming to fruition by the end of the year. I do believe this summer is going to be one of the hottest years in the last 3 decades. We are in the cold front at this point in the northeast hemisphere. We are coming out of that cold front, but I feel that the nights have been rather chill, but the days have been warm. And I think this is the build-up of this hot summer that is going to come on with a vengeance. Right now it's coming in like a lamb, it's going to go out like a lion. And I do feel that even with the heat, there will be temperatures we've never reached before in certain places. And over the past winter, if you look back, there's been quite a few people, quite a few places that can vouch for this, they can verify this, where they have never seen snow before, and they got snow. They've never seen heat before, but it's been extremely hot. It's been almost unbearable, depending on where you are in the world. And I do believe that that's going to be ramping up this year, 2026. And I do feel that there's a particular movie that was done, I think, back in the late 80s. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger was in it. And it's to the point where you couldn't go outside. And it was due to the heat, it was due to the sun being so hot. And if you know about droughts, there's definitely going to be storms that are going to come in and ruin crops. There's going to be heat that is going to create droughts. So our food supply is going to be targeted to the point where we will only have certain foods available. And it's almost as if they are requiring a particular dependency on particular foods. And this is also going to integrate itself within the digital dollar as to what you can purchase and where, and depending on your status of your current score, we'll call it, will determine what you can, where you can buy and purchase said items. And I do feel that there's going to be a lot of recalls on certain products, because the truth is already coming out that a lot of the genetically modified foods and items, the truth is coming out about it, that a lot of what we eat, a lot of what we intake is poison. And it is known as a soft kill. And certain items are going to be, that are usually paired together, will be in that soft kill dynamic. So both items will be virtually harmless to you in the short term, but in the long term, they could very well be devastating. However, you mix certain items together and they create a hard kill. And it's virtually impossible to narrow it down regarding these items. This past winter was bitter. It was very, very bitter cold. There was a lot of snow in a very short time. Every storm that I remember happening totally bombarded the snow removal services. They couldn't catch up. And it took them weeks in order to bring balance. So I do feel that that is going to happen again, but with heat. I do feel there will be water shortages to some degree. And certain establishments will have no other choice but to close down due to the climate, due to the fact that people won't be able to leave their homes. And if by chance that you do not have enough resources at your home, you're in trouble. If you even have a home. And to come to realization, all the homeless people, it's not going to turn out too well. Everything compounded is nothing but chaos, collective. And this is the silent long game that they've been working on for decades. And the Spirit's coming along to say that there will not be a place on earth that will be safe. And this is ultimately why they are creating these bunkers. It's not for a nuclear situation. It's for a climate situation. Because there are certain treaties where they are no longer allowing nuclear blasts or nuclear use of any particular war-driven items or whatever else. I don't want to go too far into that, but it's all part of the plan, collective. It's all part of the plan to bring us to our knees, to make us virtually helpless. And if you haven't heard of Agenda 2026, Agenda 2030, Agenda 2050, if you haven't heard of that yet, you're living under a rock. And if you think it's a conspiracy, it's already happening. It's already being implemented. And they're trying to create order out of chaos. And we're closing in almost 9 billion people on the planet. And the last 5 to 6 years has been a culling. I'm just going to come out and say it. It's been a soft kill culling. Anybody that had a pre-existing health issue they are going through it. The damage has already been done, collective. And now we are moving into the reactive part of that damage. We haven't even seen the aftermath. We're still in the process of the reaction of that aftermath. And I don't want to be sitting here talking about this, but I'm sure as hell not going to sugarcoat and say everything is going to be fine. Because I'm not here to sell you snake oil. I'm not here to be dishonest. I'm not here to give you false hope. I am here to open your eyes. Call your power back to you, Deadly. And do a return to sender. I know. Call your power back to you and do a return to sender. I'm not here to try to make you sad either with what I'm speaking on. But I've also spoke on the fact that these so-called 1%ers that are trying to do this, to bring about order out of chaos, I do feel they're not going to get away with it. They will see their day in hell. And I do feel that before all this comes to play, I do feel there's going to be revolt. I do feel there is going to be a revolution, because there's going to get to a particular point where the people that have been asleep are going to have a huge rude awakening. That the conspiracy theorists were right the whole time. And all they were done is called delusional. And I do feel there's going to be an uprising. The people thinking that they're stable, the people thinking that they got it all figured out, the people thinking that they're going to just get a piece of land and homestead and, do all that. And just live off the land, and some of them have been preparing for years, decades for this. And due to the climate, so-called quotation unquotation, the climate crisis, it's going to be basically making destitute everything they've built. There's certain people that need to be tried in the superior courts, international courts, for crimes against humanity, and I do feel that there are court cases right now going on. And I do feel that is literally one of our only hopes at this time. And as the truth comes out, and we continue to awaken, there is still a precipice of time where we have a chance to, the damage is already done. But I do feel that we still have a precipice of time where we have a chance to turn it around. But it would require a lot more people to awaken to the truth and see it for what it is, instead of sugarcoating and focusing on the illusion rather than the truth. And this is why I'm saying we need to stand up. We need to recognize how powerful we are on an individual basis, so that way we can recognize and realize that we have power as a collective. awareness and knowledge is going to trump everything. Understanding and integrity and the ability of reciprocity and being compassionate and helping those that are in need is part of that. Right? Yeah, Julian. People don't even care about themselves because they're bombarded by the trials and tribulations that they're facing and that they're soon to face. And this is the great rude awakening. Like, I know a bunch of ignorant idiots that think they have it made in the shade. They think that they have it all figured out. They think that they got it made in the shade. They think they know what they're doing. They think that they're safe. And they're ignorant. They're ignorant, they're selfish. They're only thinking about themselves. And yeah, they have not a fucking clue as to what's coming for them. And some of these people are from the Brotherhood. And the Brotherhood's an illusion. $141 on the dial. There will be an uprising, collective. Mark my words. And Spirit saying something about midsummer. So June, July is very significant. 2026. The 26th through the 28th is very significant. And I do feel that there's going to be earthquakes. There was an earthquake in Japan just a couple days ago that devastated. There's certain people, certain places that went dark. There's even certain, I feel that I was even kind of noticing earlier that there's certain provinces here in Canada that have been blacklisted. There's certain provinces we don't even hear about. And it's because they are so destitute that they have nothing, they're crumbling. They're not surviving. They're not succeeding in their stability. They're literally falling apart. People are reaching out. They're being blacklisted. They're being shadow banned from even speaking out about it. And if I get blacklisted and I get shadow banned, that's just confirmation in itself. And there will not be an industry across the planet that will not be affected by all of this. The powers that be literally want us running for our lives, because when we're running for our lives, it's their greatest entertainment. Because it makes them feel powerful. It makes them feel like they're doing something. And all they're trying to do is cull the useless eaters, which is you and I, which is everyone here on the planet. But they've spent the last 3 decades, 4 or 5 decades, diminishing our self-worth and making us believe in something outside of ourselves, so we don't believe in ourselves, in our own capacity to do something about it. And this is why I've steered away from religion and I've become spiritual, because it's the only thing that's helping me to see the truth. And I'm down to 20% battery life. So 144. If enough of us recognize our inner power and we choose to step into that frequency, which I've been speaking about for the last 3 years, you need to heal your inner wounds. You need to empower and overcome and rise above those inner wounds in order to recognize your inner power. And if enough people did that, and enough people started acting and living out that example, I think we would turn out to be okay. There's still going to be devastation no matter what, because they've already got the ball rolling in that direction. But we can ultimately slow down the momentum to the point where we steer this chaos off the road and into the ditch. It's like a big truck losing its brakes going down a hill and having to use the emergency road in order to stop. And I do feel Spirit's giving me that visual, because we do have a bunch of emergency roads coming up that we can do that, but we need to work together. And to say that we don't have enough people is one thing, but it's another thing to articulate ourselves in a way to lead by example. And this is where I feel that we need to start focusing on supporting our communities. And even me, myself, as one person, having this platform, I'm making ripples with absolutely every single one of you, bringing you awareness. And for some of you, it's just review. Some of you already know, because you've been awakened whenever that's happened for you. But they want us to feel helpless, like we don't have anything that we can do. And it's just getting the word out. But it's going to get to the point where they have no other choice but to see it for themselves. The awakened community has been bombarded by pseudo-awakened individuals that are out here saying that it's no longer the fact of trying to wake people up, it's the fact of fending for yourself, which I don't think is the right way to go about it. I think we need to create a support system somehow within our technologies. We need to create a support system to help people. And there's people out there doing that. They're already working on these support systems. They're already working on that technology. They're already working on those other platforms. Yeah, protesting really doesn't do anything. Yes, it makes a lot of noise. Yes, it makes people look in a different direction. But even the truckers, the farmers, right now over in Ireland, they've been doing a farmers' protest for food equality. The truckers over here in North America, they did a slow roll out to Ottawa and out to Washington. And they were made out to be an absolute joke by the media. But a lot of the media people took the bait, and they don't exist anymore. A lot of the media isn't even credible anymore because of it. And we're dealing with crimes against humanity, collective. And the people that are aware are being targeted and bombarded by spiritual and psychological warfare to the point where they feel helpless and they don't know what to do. And there is definitely a sense of urgency. Awareness and understanding and compassion will get us through. Those are the three main ingredients that we need in order to better the situation. There needs to be an uprising. But it's all in divine timing. And I do feel there will be justice come to humanity. I do feel there's justice coming to humanity. It's about being patient, it's about being consistent, it's about continuing to move forward. It's about being a witness and recognizing and understanding and appreciating that awareness of truth, although it's very difficult to take in. I think we need to take emotion out of it and think logically, because emotion brings in the factor of the lower chakras, where we are then siphoned from fear, from guilt, from pain, from suffering. And they siphon from us. So this is why healing is extremely important right now. To be able to empower yourself, to be able to rise above your past, heal your inner child. Because your inner child is where your creativity results from. And this is why a lot of people, as they grow up, they lose their ability to create. They become uninspired, and it's mainly because they are still dealing with and holding on to childhood trauma. It's all a factor, collective. I've been speaking about this the last 3 years, redundantly. To the point where I've been so frustrated about repeating myself over and over and over again, but Spirit's helping me to understand why. Over 700 videos of talking about karmic bullshit. I'm down to 10% on my battery. The choice is yours, collective. Am I going to be the only one making these ripples, or are you going to follow suit? And Julian, where do you suppose I put my efforts? If everything else is going to shit, and this is all I have left, where do you suppose I put my efforts? Are you talking steering away from the card readings and do more vortex episodes. Because I know certain subjects, I'm trying to place it in a bit of a riddle. That if you have half a fucking brain cell and you actually think about it, you know that I'm on point. But to come out and actually say what I need to say, it would get me blacklisted. It would get me banned. It would get my channel shut down. And I'm not out here wanting to talk shit about the government. I don't want to be out here talking shit about certain services that are out here to get us. That's not the whole idea. I don't want to talk shit about that. I'm not out here saying, oh, they're bad people. There's definitely a karmic energy out here. There's definitely a dharmic energy out here. It's about what you stand on and how you move forward with. Do you move forward with fear? Or do you move forward with love? Do you move forward with understanding and compassion? Or do you move forward with superficiality and judgment? This is the big factor in the mass. And this is why I've been speaking on the karmic and dharmic energies, because how you react and how you act is paramount to our survival as humans. We are the caretakers of Mother Earth. If we're going to sit here and destroy ourselves like a bunch of fucking idiots, then, you know, add some fuel and let the bitch burn. But if we're here and we feel that there's hope and we feel that there is still a chance, then we need to start making that difference, and we need to make our ripples where we are. The ripples that I've made here on the channel are very, very vast across the planet. I've got people in South Africa, I've got people in Australia, I've got people in China, I've got people in Russia, I got people over in the United States, I got people in Canada, I got people in New Zealand, I got people in Ireland, in the UK, even Iran and Israel. I've taken the time and the energy to make these ripples. And there's people out here saying, I need a job, I need to go get a job. I'm doing my fucking job, bringing awareness to the situation in a very riddleistic, as in a riddle kind of way, in order to protect myself. And I need your help to do it. It's more than just money. It's more than just supporting me in the channel. It's about supporting humanity. This is so much bigger than I am. And I'm only 5'2", 140 pounds soaking wet. But I'm still doing my best to make a difference. At least to bring awareness. I even thought about going, while I was homeless, I felt about going around to the different shelters and talking to different people and finding out what their stories are. But I don't want to bring a lot of depression to my channel. I don't want to bring, and a lot of people don't want to talk about their life and their situation. And then again, like, I'm out here talking about this, I'm out here sharing other people's stories. And I'm already doing that. by talking about karmic and dharmic energy. Trying to get people to refocus. We have a very small window to make a difference, collective. Very small window. And they're making it almost virtually impossible to stay focused. So this is where we need to double down and continue being consistent. But I do very much appreciate the time. I do very much appreciate the support that you've all shown me over the last 3 years. And with whatever happens, know that you will always be in my heart. And know that if I should cease to exist, just know that I'm going to haunt absolutely every single one of you. So be looking for the signs. Whether I'm in spiritual form or physical form, I will continue. Out of spite. And on that note, collective, I love you with all of my heart and soul, and I wish you strength. I wish you clarity. I wish you courage. I wish you divine protection. I wish you divine guidance. And I wish you all divine intervention. Please be good to yourself if you cannot be good at it. So that way, we can ultimately be good to others. And we can save Mother Earth from this so-called order out of chaos. I have an open table coming up tomorrow evening. So if you'd like a reading, be there or be square. And I'll catch you in the next video. Love you lots.